Roquan Smith. So he tweeted a statement out, and he essentially said he has been requesting a deal. He's playing on his last year of his rookie deal.
There's a feeling of lost trust from Roquan Smith that the backloaded offer wasn't, fair with what he's done on the field.
During every NFL team's lifespan, at some point or another, they need to undergo a rebuild. And I'm understanding of that. Trust me, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We've been practically rebuilding for the past 2 decades. But in these rebuilds, there are times where you could tell if a team is doing it competently or if a team just clearly has no idea what they're doing. There's constructive rebuilds, and then there's absolutely destructive rebuilds that lead to absolutely nowhere. And in the Chicago Bears case, I think they've reached a brand new threshold where their fan base should be a little bit concerned at this point. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. If you want shorter versions of this content, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at The Flight Mike on Instagram and at Microphone NFL on TikTok. Now that we got all that out of the way, break! Guys, if there's one thing that we could all agree on right now, it's that gas prices are way too expensive right now. Luckily, I partner with Upside, which is too good to be true because their entire purpose is to save you money at gas stations. And it's so easy to use. First, you want to download the free Upside app and use my promo code Microphone to get $5 cash back or more on your first purchase of $10 or more. And whenever your car gives you a warning that you're low on gas, you want to pull up the Upside app, check out which gas stations are closest to you, and see how much cash back each and every one of these gas stations are willing to give you. And in this case, I was able to claim an offer that saved me 35 cents per gallon. And we all know whenever it comes to gasoline, every penny adds up, especially in this economy. So guys, what do you have to lose except extra dollars at the pump? Download the free Upside app and use my promo code Microphone to get $5 cash back or more on your first purchase of $10 or more. And thank you, Upside, for today's sponsorship. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I apologize if my energy seems a little bit off. I'm still making my way back, guys, but let's get to this. Because originally I was feeling very pessimistic about the Chicago Bears this upcoming year. To start things out, let's discuss Justin Fields. This man is absolutely screwed for this upcoming season, and I hope I'm wrong because I was very big on Justin Fields coming out of the NFL draft. I was actually thinking that the San Francisco 49ers were going to select him with the number 3 overall pick over Trey Lance. But Justin Fields is going into his second season in the NFL, already with a brand new head coach and a brand new general manager duo with the same first names as their previous duo. And Justin Fields' wide receiver depth chart, aside from the criminally underrated Darnell Mooney, features the likes of Byron Pringle, Equanimeous St. Brown, Velus Jones Jr., Dante Pettis, and quite possibly the greatest acquisition that the Chicago Bears made in the entire offseason, and that's N'Keal Harry. No, I'm serious. That's the best move that they've made. Now, look, I'm not here to throw shade at the Chicago Bears because, again, I understand the direction of this franchise, but they're just making so many mistakes at this point that I feel like at this point we need to address some of them, including alienating their absolute best player on their roster for the worst reason at all whatsoever, just pure pettiness. You're seeing little bits of incompetence coming out of this franchise that I don't want to automatically draw parallels to the Jacksonville Jaguars of last year, because the Jaguars of last year were really bad, but we were getting some little tidbits of things like this from the Jags this early at this point last year. If you guys didn't know, Tevin Jenkins for some reason missed 7 straight practices with a quote-unquote undisclosed injury. Now, following this, there was actually a rumor that the Chicago Bears were trying to trade Tevin Jenkins, which is another player that I was very big on in the 2021 NFL draft, just purely because I watched Brett Coleman's video on him. I'm sure you did too. We all thought that he was going to become an all-pro as a result of it. Make sure you subscribe to Brett Coleman. There was this rumor that he was apparently clashing with his head coaches, which Tevin actually came out and mentioned that he was not clashing with his head coaches, but it was still not necessarily the greatest look from a franchise that is trying to rebuild, but still that's something we could put aside. What gets really bad here is the Chicago Bears obviously traded Khalil Mack a few months ago. It was one of their biggest moves of the offseason, and they did it in a clear cap path-cutting move. And although it's sad to see Khalil Mack go away, it made a lot of sense at the time. Which also means that if there are any star players that the Chicago Bears have, then they should have no problem paying said star players, especially if said star player happens to be 25 years old, happens to be a two-time All-Pro, and this team is in the midst of a rebuild and this player has no problem committing to them whatsoever. And unfortunately for the Chicago Bears, they somehow were able to botch this as well. So for those of you guys that don't know, Roquan Smith was holding in at Chicago Bears training camp, which is a polite way of saying, hey, I'm gonna be here, but I'm not going to do any of the team drills until I get a brand new contract. So as a result, the Chicago Bears engaged with Roquan Smith in contract extensions, and the result of it wasn't what you were hoping for, because Roquan Smith at the end of these contract negotiations didn't tweet out that he's excited to be a Chicago Bear for life, or he's excited to be in Chicago for the next couple of years. He wrote a letter, one of those Instagram notes that he screenshotted and posted, and this letter, to be honest, kind of resembles the Baker Mayfield farewell letter to the Cleveland Browns when Deshaun Watson took his visit with the Cleveland Browns. Check this out, man. This is insane. To the city of Chicago and all the Bears fans worldwide, I have officially requested a trade. Just writing these words is deeply painful. I'm a kid from Macon County, Georgia. When you grow up playing football, you dream of making it to the NFL one day. However, playing the linebacker position, you never imagine getting drafted in the top 10 by the Chicago Bears. I'm a homegrown Bear, a dream come true for me to have an opportunity to put that Bears helmet on, wear the same jersey that the legendary linebackers did. It's an indescribable feeling. Walking these hallways the past 4 years, you can feel the spirit. You feel the pressure to live up to that timeless history, that great legacy. I dreamed of playing like Wilbur Marshall, Mike Singletary, Lance Briggs, Brian Urlacher, and Dick Butkus. Since the day I was drafted, I vowed to play this position at a level that upheld the standard that was set before me, to uphold that respect and honor, and I have. Unfortunately, the new front office regime doesn't value me here. They've refused to negotiate in good faith. Every step of this journey has been take it or leave it. The deal sent to me is one that would be bad for myself and for the entire linebacker market if I signed it. I've been trying to get something done that's fair since April, but their focus has been trying to take advantage of me. This is where Roquan Smith really screws over the Bears, because he ends it by saying, I wanted to be a Chicago Bear for my entire career, help this team bring a Super Bowl back to our city. However, they have left me no choice than to request a trade that allows me to play for an organization that truly values what I bring to the table. I haven't had the chance to talk to the McCaskey family, and maybe they can salvage this, but as of right now, I don't see a path back to the organization I truly love. I hope and pray you can all understand. I'm deeply sorry it's come to this. Sincerely, Roquan Smith. Do you know how freaking bad this looks? I mean, currently, the Chicago Bears, at the time I'm recording this video, have about $18 million in cap space, and in 2023, they're projected to have the most cap space in the entire freaking NFL. And yet, despite this, they decided to lowball one of their few good players on their roster. Whenever you're trying to rebuild, you want either good young talent or you want to trade that good young talent for assets. And in the case of Roquan Smith, if they're able to get multiple first-round picks for him, then great. But ideally, you're able to keep a player like Roquan Smith because he's vital to your team's culture and what you're trying to do in Chicago, especially if he values what he's done in Chicago so far. I'll tell you what bugs me, man. You know how every single time I make a video and I tell you whenever a new regime comes in, there's a chance that they'll automatically be more willing to punt on a quarterback if he doesn't work out? I can't help but get this feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, but I get this feeling that this season, the Chicago Bears are going to perform horribly, and Justin Fields is going to play terribly because, I mean, how could he not? What weapons does he have? I hope I'm wrong. I want the guy to succeed, but how could he not? Then all of a sudden, the Chicago Bears are pointing the blame finger at Justin Fields. Next thing you know, the man might be done in the NFL after this season without really even getting a chance or a good opportunity to prove himself. I just feel like that's the type of organization we're dealing with here, just based off of the incompetence that I've seen so far in handling the Roquan Smith situation. If there's any Chicago Bears management watching this, please pay a top 5 inside linebacker in the NFL the amount he's worth when you have $96 million in projected cap space for 2023 and $18 million for 2024. 2022. I mean, this hardball isn't worth it, and you can't afford any of the distractions right now based upon how this past offseason's gone. If you lose Roquan Smith, then this would definitely look bad towards the fan base as well. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.